Om Ahom Vajraguru Brahmaside Om. 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 Woo! Let's go! Let's go! I feel so sharp. I feel so full of energy today. I feel clean because I channeled Padmasambhava's energy yesterday. And thank you so much to this energy. I'm so grateful. And I feel very sharp, very intuitive. Like I'm in my own flow. That's a good way to describe it, actually. Hey, flow state coaches and flow? Oh my goodness. Newsflash. Okay. Welcome to the channel. My name is Sumed Chatterjee. I'm from the Flow Zone Academy. Originally, I was a creativity coach, but then I transitioned into the peak performance field. And non-traditionally, okay, studying transcendence with peak performance together, which has been quite a journey, okay? So the term that I'm introducing is called mindful peak performance, okay? Which is performing at your optimal level from a conscious state, okay? And being in the zone, being in the pocket, living in a flow state lifestyle is gonna help you accumulate this type of mindset where you can go forward, okay? Now today, I know this is a strange segue from this to this, but it is what it is, okay? I wanted to speak to you guys today primarily about how to text, but also remain in the flow state as you're texting, okay? So texting mastery with flow state mechanisms in place, okay? Now, I don't want you to look at this like some kind of a, algorithm or like some kind of a, a divisive maneuver to try to win someone over or get them to text you back or have these weird, incentives, motives, agendas. Let's take out all of that, okay, threw it away, and let's start from a blank slate, okay? Because that's what a text conversation is. First of all, it's a blank slate, and then someone says hi. Now it started, okay? The chess mass has, the chess mass, well, the chess mass, right? But the chess, what was I gonna say? Match. The chess match has begun, okay? Doom, doom, doom. Their move, your move. Their move, your move. Their move, your move. Their move, your move. Now, usually what happens is action, reaction, action, reaction, action, reaction, just like in theater, right? One person is saying something, someone's reacting to. Now, what if you break that pattern and you don't always react, right? This is what I'm going to introduce into a powerful dynamic, because our company, Primal Sutra, it originally came from us helping men with their dating lives, like, spirituality with dating. And what I started to understand is that a lot of the way that people text is inauthentic to what they really are and what they're portraying, okay? They're trying to lie their way into the end goal, okay? And that doesn't serve you in the long term. Okay, yes, for a quick fling or something like this, that's fine. But if you're looking to build something, that's what, you want to build something, some form of connection, right? So first of all, you want to understand, what are you even texting for, right? What is the purpose of this? So you want to be purposeful. That's law number one. If you're taking notes, right now is the time to take notes. Law number one, purposeful, okay? Which means that you have to understand what kind of a text message you're sending, okay? Means, is it a resurrection text? Is it just banter? Is it an interrogation text? Okay, is it a flirtation text? Is it like a networking text? Right? Is it a sales text? Okay, you have to understand what the purpose of why you're texting first, okay? And mostly, the way I use texting is to meet up in person, right? Stop getting so overcomplicated, you're not pen pals, okay, guys? Just like, sending each other like emojis each day and like, little heart. Okay, that's fine, but once you're in a relationship, you're doing this with someone that you haven't even met, okay? Long distance, then you're playing this text game thing weird, man. You're playing it wrong, okay? Wrong in the sense of it's just ineffective, You want to meet people where they're at, okay? So number one is you want to be texting from a sharp mind. I don't text when I'm like really groggy or I'm about to fall asleep. Maybe I'll text somebody, in this lethargic state. You know what, man? Your words will get impact from your energy levels or your state of mind, right? Your mood. Your mood will dictate to you sometimes your words. You get that? So you can be typing, oh, I'm the best, I feel incredible, right? In that state where you're feeling bad, and you will notice that it won't hit. It won't move the conversation forward. But if you're genuinely feeling that, right? And you express that out into the world, guess what? That's what they're going to be feeling as well on the other side. And it's kind of like imagining like a phone call, how that would go, right? You'd say something, they'd react on the other side. There'd be some sort of response, okay? And the main thing here to have the sharp mind is also courage. Courage to text the things that you really want to text, okay? Like, it's not the, okay, kind of courage. By the way, some of you guys were more in this era and not, back in, I was talking about Courage the Cowardly Dog, okay? Not Young M.A.'s ad-libs. Oh, no. I was talking about Courage the Cowardly Dog, okay? Just correcting that. Oh. Right? It's like a dog howl that's like scared. That's not the type of courage that I want you to have, okay? I want you to have the type of courage where you can go in there all guns blazing, okay? You got the weaponry to text. You got a sharp mind. You're focused in. You're feeling good. You're feeling amped up. And then from that state, any text is a good text. Trust me. Okay? Any text will just hit any person that you send. So this is kind of very overall, right? And that doesn't mean that you don't text anyone when you're sad. Bro, you got it wrong. It's just the optimal time of texting is from that sharp state of mind, so you can be witty when the time calls for it. So you can be a little bit, distant when the time calls for it. So that you can be a little bit more involved and intimate when the time calls for it. Okay? So you're working with keeping this mentality of flow state alive. And when you're in the zone, when you're in the pocket, that's when you shoot the text. Okay? Law number one, okay? Law number two, okay? Themes, okay? Themes. Themes are incredible because it keeps the structure of the text alive, okay? Hey man, every good story needs a structure, right? It needs a framework. And to think about it, we all have our storylines, right? We each have like a love story. We each have like a money story, right? We each have like a career story. We each have like a, health story or fitness story. We all have this story. But what about these other people that we're communicating with? What are their stories, you see? So first of all, it's that kind of curiosity with the themes too, right? You're getting to know somebody through the text message, right? And so having a narrative in mind or a theme in mind will get you to be very sharp, as well as you'll have inside jokes with this other person a lot easier when you have that structure and theme. Okay? So let's say in a friendship dynamic, just two guys chatting, right? Let's say that someone is basically going with a theme of competition, right? So you guys are playing a game together, and then you can have fun with it, and basically shit talk to each other, and like kind of amp each other up, like, nah, I'm gonna win, bro. Like you're nothing, you know, like that kind of, and it creates a funny narrative for you guys where you're kind of like against each other, but you're kind of best friends at the same time, and it creates this cool inside joke, like this friendly rivalry, right? That's one example. Another example, let's say in a relationship example, flirtation example, you could take on the role of, let's say, a teacher and she's the student, for instance, as an example, right? Or you can be, let's say the theme is like, you know, you're some kind of like an action hero, like an archer, and she's the maiden you have to rescue. Okay? Or, you know, she's like fighting zombies or whatever, and you're like kind of like a person who's been there, done that, you know what I mean? Like, you've seen all the zombies. That's a funny little inside joke, you know? So you could take it to, like in that last example, you could take it to, oh, zombie apocalypse, what would you do? It's fun, right? It's generating fun, determining fun. So first of all, you got to decide, all right, I'm going to be this character in this context. And you'll notice when you have that, a lot of gold will drip out once you have the correct character and the correct story and the theme. Okay? So let's say that you're a long lost traveler, right? And you just met this person and you're texting them from that frame. Okay? Imagine like the level of your text is gonna be a little bit unique. Not what she's very used to, okay? I just recently, you know, I'm using this as an example, but, you know, I always say, what's good with you, right? What's good with you? And some people aren't used to hearing that. You know, they're used to what's up. They're used to how's it going. So I've had girls be like, do you mean how's it going? I'm just straight up, no. I mean, what's good with you? You know? That's how I speak. Okay? So that already sets you apart. Okay, and again, what's good with you is like proper matches into dates framework back in the day. Okay, that was like the opener back then, right? Powerful stuff though, if you understand it correctly. Okay? If you understand it correctly, it's very, very powerful and it can refine you in a very particular direction. Now, okay, so we have sharp mind, themes. Then we're going into honesty. And the reason I bring up honesty is not being brutally honest with someone, okay? It's to be radically honest. It's to take responsibility for your honesty and communication. There's a book called Radical Honesty by Brad Blanston or whatever his name was, right? BB. Brad Blanston. Yo, what's up, guys? My name's Brad Blanston, right? The Tapkins and the Babkins with the napkins, okay? So, radical honesty, but I would say more so honesty plus cause, not honesty plus effect. Because listen here, my friends, comrades, sisters, priestesses, okay, beautiful souls, listen to me. When you are in effect and honest, people might sense out a very deep vulnerability in you, okay? And they can oftentimes use that against you. I mean, countless people who have reported this to me, right? And you've got to understand that your vulnerability is earned. Okay, for real, it's earned. You don't show you're a limping animal in the forest to everybody. You get what I'm saying? If you're wounded in the jungle, you don't let anybody know, because everybody's just going to attack you, right? But what do in modern culture? We praise these people. Oh, that's all right. Okay, I won't step on your toes. Oh, that's fine. Okay, we'll leave them alone. Okay, as we've civilized, we've kind of gotten to that more. However, start to really understand this, though, that proper cause plus communication, honesty, okay, honestly communicating, being the cause, being the ripple effect, being the impact, and less an effect. Like, of course, you're responding, but you're not being reactive, right? You're not like, oh, they said this, then I have to say this. Or a lot of people, they're very agreeable, right? So they'd be like, the girl's like, oh yeah, I love dogs. Like, oh, I love dogs too, even if you don't love dogs. Bro, what are you doing? Okay? Are you just like her parakeet who repeats yeah after she says anything? She's dominating that conversation, bro. This is why you got to have this solid sense of I know who I am, and create some pattern interrupts, and also have a holistic understanding of textology, okay? Well, science experiment. Textology 101, okay? This is my class. Welcome. Sit down. Have a seat. Okay? So, in Textology 101, I understand that I'm not caught up or attached to any way of texting, okay? I'm not rigid in my texting, and that's the last law. I want to leave it there. However, I want to circle back and talk about some of these a little bit as well. Like, effect in honesty would be like, oh, my mom ran away from home when she was only, so young, and we came from a really rough family, and I can't believe how much hardship that we've been through. Like, some of us, of course, we have deep empathy and regard for these situations where we're like, wow, that's really great, right? But if it's not real, and if it's not connected, it's going to be very difficult, right? Because it's like a connectedness that I want to emphasize, okay? The conversation is kept alive through these micro moments of connection, as Barbara Fredrickson calls love. That's what it is. Little micro moments of connection. And that's how you got to think of texts, to be honest with you. Through your words, you're just finding a way to connect. Now, you're not gonna like everybody's texting style. Some people text less, right? Few words, but then you meet them in person, they talk like an entire monologue to you, right? Or like, for instance, like certain people will type in like a giant paragraph or whatever, and that's their style of texting, okay? You want to be a little bit easier on the eyes, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm not attached to like, oh, I have to text like this, or if I text too fast, I'll mess up, or if you have too many of these micromanagement things that you're doing while you're texting, it's not going to be pure, and it's going to seem a little bit choppy, okay? Like you're kind of using the training wheels still, okay? So value over technique, I talk about this, right? Like, once you can find your true value and share that, instead of trying to focus on the technique and how to get the technique right so that she will respond, then you'll start seeing the results stack, okay? But if someone who's doing this for the first time, like, texting a girl, of course you're gonna need some little things and training wheels and, openers and stuff like this, okay? So that's completely valid. Use that stuff until you let go of it. You evolve past it, you graduate, okay? There's a graduation ceremony where you don't need the techniques anymore. You just hold true to you and your values, right? And that's super attractive, if you ask me. Somebody who holds true to their values. Someone who knows who they are. Practices what they preach, right? You're just immediately like, we're magnetized to that as people. We're like, wow, that's lit as fuck, right? So the last one, well, I want to mention the purposeful is number 4, right? Being very purposeful. Being like, okay, let's meet up. Or, 7 p.m., wear a cute dress, meet me at, wherever you guys go. I don't know, Marquise or whatever. But different different people are in different parts of the world. So I don't know. Our brother from Uganda might be like, going to some place called Umbalatu or something like that. Umbalatu, the nightclub. Anyway, let's just say the purposefulness also comes from your purpose, right? So how you're guiding that conversation, you got to understand that how people perceive you. And if you're just like, let's say you do something, a job, right? You're a data technician, or you're a scientist, or you're, let's say, an engineer, right? These kinds of very logical-minded professions. You will want to turn this into an algorithm. You will want to find the logic behind this. Okay? But oftentimes, girls are not interested in that. They just want to talk for the sake of talking. They have no intention or set plan of what they want to talk about. They just want to express themselves. That's what you got to understand, brother, okay? Sometimes she just needs to vent, and you just need to hold space for her to vent. But also, it's cool to have a discussion and be like, babe, if you ever need to vent to me, just tell me, and then I'll hold space for you, right? You being the leader and actually saying that rather than waiting for her to like take the lead or whatever. Bro, what are you doing, right? The dynamic is messed up. Relationship dynamics are messed up, right? You just taking your power back more and more. You've been sitting in the back seat and she's in the driver's seat, or vice versa, right? You've just been allowing this other person to run you. And that's the thing, man. In texting, you got to be very clear as well with your communication, because a lot of the times people won't get you, okay? Or especially me, like I'm such a friggin' weird, unique drop in the social media algorithm that people are like, what? This guy exists? Like, flow state specialist, like, learning motion, and, You mean this is a thing? People can do this? You mean I can have a job like that? Helping people? And you start to question yourself and your reality when someone like me shows up, right? Because it's like, whoa, fuck. Right? I'm like a glitch in the matrix in a sense, right? And so that's the real essence of you texting with these pattern interrupts sometimes. Sometimes, even one of the greatest pickup artists in the world, Mystery, at the time, way back when, right? Before nobody knew him. Like, he was like in his prime or whatever. Like, he was doing his thing even before the game and all that came about. He said, sometimes when it's going really well, I'll throw a monkey wrench in it. What that means is he just wants to see it crash and burn and then see how he can solve it, right? To test his own skills. Do you guys get that? How powerful that is? Like, he's at that level of mastery where he can be like, I'm going to mess this up on purpose and see if I can handle it, right? Like, that's testing your own skill. That's like putting yourself on a chopping block, right? In a sense. But that's such a powerful mentality to have when you're texting. And the last one, I think, I got to leave it with this, is detachment with connection, okay? Seems like a paradox, but understand me here very clearly, okay? You can't take people's storylines as the truth. It's just their version of the truth, okay? It's their perception. It's how they're perceiving it. So that's that level of detachment. You understand that, like, whatever they're saying, it's coming from them, right? It has nothing to do with you. And if you get really rigid, you will start to notice that you're getting too attached to the way of texting. I'll only use long paragraphs, okay? Like some random rule you've set for yourself. No more than 3 or 4 emojis, okay? I will only use Giphies when it's a Sunday. What? You're giving yourself way too many weird limits with this thing, okay? Open the valve and flow. Okay? It's not about what is the right thing to say so that I can maybe change her mind towards more of this area. Okay? That's a weird, creepy question, bro. I don't know what you want to say, right? But I know that what you're feeling and what you're thinking, and a combination of both, coming through this filter, Visuddhi, right? The throat chakra, the filter, also called the filter, is coming through. Okay? And sometimes it might not make sense, right? Sometimes it might just be like you singing a little song for like 4 seconds in a voice message, and that somehow hits, right? A voice message is a whole another game, right? That's different, right? We can save that for another time, but man, the power of the voice, right, is so key, so powerful. And I know how to make my voice sexier. I know how to slow it down. I know how to regulate it, okay? So I had that kind of understanding of cadence in my own understanding. Of course, my nose is still stuffy. You guys can hear it. But at the same level, you want to understand that there is this detachment, but you're still connected to it, okay? Because if you disconnect, the conversation ends, okay? If you lost the care or the connection there, the conversation will end. Some of you guys are too afraid to text what you truly want, you know? I'll be honest with you guys. Am I being offensive? Am I doing it wrong? Listen, the more you rip off that Band-Aid, the better you will feel eventually. That situation that you haven't solved with that other person, right? You've been backlogging and keeping this in the back of your mind, like, hey, wait a minute. Like, let's say this happens with like breakups all the time, right? You're meant to break up, then something somehow happens, you patch back together because it feels familiar and comfortable, and you'd rather just be there than be alone, okay? But really, you're not okay with being alone. That's what you got to understand, okay? There's a weird codependence thing happening if you feel such a weird upheaval when you break up, right? So you got to understand, hey, it hurts, right? Some things that people say really hurt. Okay, that's why the block button is invented. Okay, you speak your truth. You just say block me. If you don't like what I'm sending, you block me, right? It is what it is, whatever. Like, you can just push everything that I said to the side if you want. If that's your honest expression, then I will properly judge and mark your character according to how you honestly portray yourself through a text message, right? But sometimes what happens is the rational mind will try to analyze these texts, like, what did she mean when she said, or how do I know if you're too in the logical mind trying to text? It's fun, it's playful, it's light, okay? Little bit of emotional spiking, a little bit of teasing back and forth. Let's meet up, okay? That's a particular kind of texting, right? You're not flirting with your boss or whatever. Like, that's hella weird. So you got to understand these 5 principles. Let me repeat them once again. Sharp mind. Have themes or a narrative going. Be the cause of the conversation, but speak honestly. Honesty plus cause. Be purposeful in your communication. Why are you texting them? What is your agenda? Okay? Everybody has an agenda. You better know what yours is. That's my mentor AZD said once, right? You better know what yours is, man. What are you trying to do at the end of the day? Are you trying to build a relationship long term? Is this a hookup? Is this like something, or are you just kind of like, I guess I'll see how it goes? Okay, no, you got to decide. You got to decide and lead it there. Okay, and move with that energy. I guess I'll let the universe do it. I guess I'll let her make the first move. And you wait for like months and then nothing happens. Bro, I've had to do it where, girls who ghost me or whatever, I'm just like, yo, I just leave them this message. It's very powerful of saying, hey, listen, is this conversation something that you're really interested in and that you want to pursue? Or is this like something that you just rather not do, right? Like I will say things like this, which is very genuine, honest, and pure to end those conversations. But the funny thing is, when I've left it like that, they still check my stories, right? All this kind of stuff. So that's what it goes to tell you, man, is like you're always like building this narrative, even as you're going about your day. If you have a social media, which I highly recommend you get a social media if you don't have it. But again, if it's distracting you, if it's taking you away from the flow, then definitely get rid of it, okay? Especially for a little while. Like, get off of it and then come back when you're much more in a better headspace. But yeah, man, like that's what I would tell you. These are the laws. Take them or leave them. There's probably a bunch of others that we can add and chime in and talk about, but I found that these are the main ones, man. When I'm texting anybody, I'm looking for these things, okay? So, thank you for watching. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you. And stay legendary. Let's get it. Upward Spiral Gang. You already know, man.